Sponsored by Fast Hosts. This is an SSD again, so it shouldn't take that long. What? Apple recently made macOS X Lion free for all Mac users, so I thought today would be a good day to get nostalgic with it and all of its skeuomorphic goodness. And my friends at Fast Hosts are hosting a giveaway for my UK viewers, which you can enter by answering the Techie Test question with the link in the description. And the question is, what was the first version of macOS X to support Rosetta? So if you're ready, come on, let's dive into this. Hey guys, how are you all doing? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Krazy Ken, and today we're having a nostalgic installation sensation with macOS X Lion. But we're not just installing it on any old Mac, we're installing it on a rather limited run Macintosh, which is this aluminum unibody MacBook. Only one version of this MacBook model was ever made, and then Apple switched it only to Pro models that had the aluminum, and the rest were that white plastic. So this is kind of a special unit, plus it has been upgraded with an SSD, which I did in a separate episode. You can check that out. It's currently running macOS 10.6 Snow Leopard, which I personally really like, by the way. The wallpaper is badass. But we're going to upgrade this thing to Lion because Apple made it free. All right, so let's bust open this DMG. And for the record, I've never done this before. This is actually my first attempt. That's the joy of the raw nature of Krazy Ken's Tech Misadventures. The Krazy Ken curse can strike at any moment, and the simplest things can quickly go wrong. Like, you know, plugging in a computer and suddenly it explodes on you. Whoa! Good times. So we have a package file here. The operation couldn't be completed. com.apple. What was I just talking about, right? Maybe we need an updated version of Snow Leopard. Run 10.6.3. Okay, so let's take a look at the details of the software update. And we're going. So hopefully this works. Okay, it's just not a good day today. All right, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. The update could not be verified. It may have been corrupted or tampered with. So dramatic. Try it one more time. Yeah, like that'll do anything. Now this time it says I'm not connected to the internet. Well, isn't that just a darn shame? All right, it keeps saying connection failed. I'm just gonna guess that I can't connect to my airport base station. I mean, it's an Apple airport base station. It's not crazy new because Apple doesn't make them anymore. So, okay, I will switch to Ethernet. I'll just run a long-ass Ethernet cable into the layer here and try that. And huzzah, I have fished an Ethernet cable out of the depths of Dell. And yeah, this should be good. It's like a 50-foot cable, so that's the FireWire. Nope, there is no FireWire on here. What am I talking about? That is Ethernet. Okay, so now we're just getting rid of the Wi-Fi issue altogether. Let's make sure it's working. And Ethernet is connected, and just for safety, we will turn off the airport. Ah, now it's taking much longer, so something must be working. Oh, save me. We are actually getting somewhere this time. Phew! Ethernet saved the day! And here we go, restart. We're not connected to a power source. Probably should get one because this battery is, well, I don't know how old this battery is, but it's got about 50% juice right now. So yeah, unfortunately we gotta finish this boring part before we get into the juicy stuff. But through the magic of video editing, we can get there right now. And we're back at the desktop. So let's make sure we're running 10.6.8. And we are. Congratulations. So now let's just hope this image works, because if it doesn't, that means I have to put effort into the solution and make it happen. That's just so much work. It actually is. It's working. All right, good. Good. I'm kidding, by the way. I don't give up that easily. I hope. Yep, that's a Windows partition. We're not going to touch that. And this is an SSD again, so it shouldn't take that long. What? Just general word of advice. Never go into an IT situation thinking, oh, this will be simple and quick. I'll be done before noon. Because it's just going to take your entire freaking day. So I think at this point, I'm just going to say, screw the Apple image from the website. I'm just going to go to my archives, which I've been building since probably like 2009, and just take an installer image from there, and we'll actually get on with our lives. Okay, funny story, you're gonna like this. I don't have an image of lion. It's great. So I'm downloading one from a third-party website right now, but it's taking forever because the server's probably powered by a hamster wheel. But in the meantime, I looked deep within myself and turned to the one place I would go when I need serious help. Twitter! And they reminded me I probably have to set the date and time back. Duh, of course. If a certificate expires, quote unquote, usually setting the date and time back fixes that issue. In fact, there was a similar issue in my El Capitan episode I did a while ago. So let's set this back to, let's say 2012. So now we're back in 2012. Isn't it crazy how time travel works like that? It's so convenient. You don't need plutonium and all that crap. All right, so let's try this again. Continue. Install location, Macintosh HD. Continue. Install. Password prompt. Yes. Boop. Wrong. Bing. There we go. Let's see if it works. Okay, this is the furthest we've gotten. Thank you, Twitter community, and all of your fast replies. You guys are amazing. Remember at the beginning when I joked about the Krazy Ken curse? Yeah, don't joke about it. It's freaking real. Look at all this crap that just happened. But lesson learned, just always remember to change the date and time and check the system requirements. Yeah, those are the two takeaways here. If you can learn from my bumblings, I have succeeded in my job. Okay, 10 minutes remaining. So while we wait for the installation to finish, let's talk about FastHost and that generous giveaway where you can win your ultimate work from home setup worth up to £5,000. FastHost is a UK-based web hosting company which offers a wide range of web hosting products and other services. They provide effective and affordable hosting packages to suit any need. For example, they offer cloud backup services for unlimited devices from your smartphone to your server and everything in between, with up to 20 terabytes. FastHost also offers dedicated servers with up to a 20-core Intel Xeon configuration, so you can get your stuff done and you don't have to share the hardware. Oh, and if Intel is not your thing, you can flip the switch to AMD and upgrade to an EPYC. Also, there's no setup fees. Now, the exciting part. If you're in the UK, you have a chance to win the ultimate work-from-home setup worth up to £5,000 if you can answer my techie test question. What was the first version of macOS 10 to support Rosetta? Click the link in the description, fill out your answer, and best of luck. And again, it's all thanks to FastHosts. Their data centers are based in the UK alongside their offices, and whether you go for a lightweight web hosting package or a fully fledged dedicated box, you can talk to their expert support teams 24/7. All right, let's check in on this installation. All right, the installation was successful. I have no idea what's supposed to happen next. Oh yeah, oh, there we go. Of course. Yeah, macOS 10 Lion was the first version of macOS 10 to be installable just through an app from the App Store. Everything else was CDs and DVDs prior. So, there we go. It's all coming back to me. This was a long time ago. This was like 10 years ago now, so it's been a while. Look at our glorious Lion just chilling there. Yes, I read the whole thing, I promise. And yeah, the new buttons too. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, so we're gonna say goodbye to Snow Leopard. We're just gonna upgrade right on top of it. Yes, we will need to get power because we are really running low. So yeah, macOS 10 Lion has a bunch of new features. In fact, the whole philosophy behind it was back to the Mac, right? So like Apple was making the iPad and Steve was like, hey, we're gonna take these cool innovations we learned with the iPad and bring them into the Mac. So there's all these new features that were inspired by the iPad in the operating system, but also the user interface got updated as well, along with a lot of that skeuomorphism, which we saw on the iPad as well. So it's just going to be so much fun to play with it again and be nostalgic, and it may be corrupted or tampered with during downloading. Why? Why is stuff so hard? Why'd I sound like Tommy Wiseau right there? Why is this so ridiculous? It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Okay, specifically it says error verifying ESD, electronic software distribution payload. The operation couldn't be complete. Honestly, at this point, we could probably just extract the ESD from here. I'm willing to bet there's hey, there's an ESD right in the installer. I'm gonna get that flash drive again, and we're just gonna restore this to there and see if it works. Okay, we're trying the disk utility restoration process. Oh gosh, I've said this so many times, but hopefully this works. Could not restore, cannot allocate memory. All right, chaps, this has, very rapidly turned into an installation frustration, but we don't give up here. Let's boot this baby up and go to the boot picker. I switched over to my iMac because I don't have any, cloning software on this computer, so there's really nothing I can do. And I wanted to use Super Duper, which it says it's compatible with Big Sur, but clearly it's not. It just keeps crashing anyway. So then I tried Balena, which I would usually use, but I was hesitant because it kept giving me this missing partition table warning. But I've been able to successfully ignore that message in the past. And I used it to restore the ESD disk image file to this flash drive. Hopefully it works. If we plug this in and the icon pops up, we've made it to the next stage of this crazy ass installation frustration nightmare. Holy shit! Hang on, we can't get too excited too quick. It shows up. So it's bootable, thank goodness. But will it actually work? We're gonna find out. So let's boot into the installer and see what happens. Ah, linen. That's a good sign. There was a lot of linen in the old Mac OS 10 days here. Cool. All right, we have the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. No, just to be safe, I'm going to set the date back because otherwise this may not install properly. So I just need to get that number. Boom. Okay, so now we are set to sometime in 2012. Yeah, February 1st. Man, I'm getting nostalgic with these tiny buttons here. That was one of the user interface changes in these new circular buttons here. Yeah, okay, so, and boom! We are in the installation phase, the good old giant Roman numeral 10. Remember that? And the nice linen and the aqua? Oh yeah, good times. When this is done, we'll actually be able to demo the features and have a nostalgia trip instead of this nightmare. That'll be nice. Everything will be great. Sunshine and lollipops. About 4 minutes remaining. It's about time we got this friggin' thing to work. Oh, jump down to 2. Yes, you just gotta complain and then it goes faster. Nope, don't follow that rule. That's bad advice. Less than a minute remaining, which is scientifically the longest temporal unit of measurement. Bam! We will restart in 8 seconds. I don't have time for that. This has already taken 8 hours. Not really, but still, just a lot of time. Bong. Is it gonna bong for me? That'd be great. Oh, it's been one of those days, huh? It's not that bad, I guess. In hindsight, I mean, things could be worse. I could be on fire again. Boy, I probably haven't touched Lion since Mountain Lion came out, and that was like 9 years ago. The old beach ball. Oh, look at that nice zoom. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, that's right. They had to give you a little tutorial because by default, this is where the natural scroll direction thing started, where you push up with your fingers on the trackpad, and honestly, I hate that. I don't know if you guys like it, but I always turn off the natural scroll direction because to me, it's anything but natural. Here we are. We are in Mac OS 10 Lion. It's about freaking time, but we made it in 3 pieces. You know, it wasn't one piece. Good anime. All right, well, let's just go down the list of new features, and then we'll dive into that beautiful skeuomorphism. So I'd say the first big thing is the Launchpad. Inspired by the iPad and iPhone home screens, clearly. You even had the good old folder animation with the linen there. It's a little bit different nowadays. The Launchpad is still a feature. It just looks different. No searching. You could not search in the Launchpad, so I never used it. I hated the fact that you could not search in it, but in Mountain Lion, they added that feature. Then I started using the Launchpad. It's just kind of useless when you can't just quick keyboard shortcut things. And full screen applications is now a standard system control. Yeah, it's rendering beautifully. We have these full screen arrow controls, so we can have these full screen apps and they can just sit in their own little space. And then with mission control, we can get to the desktops, the dashboard, which doesn't exist in Mac OS 10 anymore, or Mac OS at all. Full screen apps, we can rearrange them here, and we can also see all of our open windows, and you can also have them grouped together. You can swipe them open, you can spacebar preview them. And again, lots of linen. I wasn't joking about the linen. There's a crap ton of linen in the system. And if you open it up, you can see the linen background. And I kind of like this, how the desktop kind of just shrinks down in there. Can we do this in slow-mo? No, we can't. You know, now that we have this open, we can actually enjoy the skeuomorphism. Look at that nice stitched leather. You zoom in there, you can see the stitching, the leather texture, even like torn pieces of paper on the calendar. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was cool at the time. I think it started to get a little overwhelming, and that's why in Mavericks, only a couple years later, they started getting rid of it all.
No virtual cows were harmed in the making of this user interface.
But it was kind of cool at first, not gonna lie. And I think this was inspired by the interior of one of Steve Jobs' like private jets or something. I think that's where they got the inspiration for that. I think there's also an animation here, like if you scroll through pages. Oh, there we go. If you scroll with the trackpad, you can get a nice flipping paper animation. Nice little touch there. And of course, you can take this full screen as well if you want. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. The like the restore button went into the menu bar. That's right. Because nowadays you just press the little green button to go full screen and out of full screen, but it was different. It was in the menu bar there. Another use of skeuomorphism, you have the book. So like the address book actually looked like a book. And then here we have the dashboard with the like kind of hole punch pegboard. I guess it's a pegboard kind of background. And then another kind of background. Oh, the weather widget just appeared out of nowhere. Okay. Another big technical change, which is still in the system today and it's very useful, is autosave. So like in Snow Leopard, if you were typing a document, the duck swims on the lake, and you went to quit the application, it would ask you, hey, do you want to save changes? But in Lion, you can just quit. Just like in an iOS application, you can go away from it and you're not stopped by any prompts or anything, and your stuff is just saved when you resume, when you come back to it. And then boom, it'll resume where you left off. In fact, even with shutting down, you could have it reopen all your windows when you log back in, so everything continues right where it left off. Now, if you went to close, then it would ask, hey, do you want to not save this, or do you want to give it a name and save it somewhere? So you still had those options. And then another feature that I remember liking because it looked cool was versions. So if we, not virgins, versions. So if we, let's say we open that doc here, and let's say we make changes, we copy and paste this amazing poetry, you'll see it says edited up there. Now if we save, what we did in effect was we saved a version, which they don't even say anymore in the system, it just says save. We can now get back to it if we needed to. So if we went to File, Revert Document, we now get this cool space theme thing. Oh yeah, just like Time Machine. It's all spacey. And you can scroll back and restore your previous document. You can even just drag and drop text or copy and paste from one thing to the other, and you can just fly through time and space. And oh my gosh, just the glossy buttons and the space and the stars. My gosh, I'm just getting a massive nostalgia attack right now. Whew. This feature is still in the system. If you didn't know that, yeah, it's there. Use it. It's good. It doesn't look like this. It's a little more minimalist now, but... And another thing they did was this is when they introduced the automatic scroll bars. So the scroll bars weren't always visible anymore. They would only be visible when you scroll, just like on iOS and on the iPad. Now, you could change that if you want. You could have them always showing if you want, and you can also click and drag them still. But by default, they would hide because you don't need to see them all the time. Surprise! It's me on a very low quality webcam. One thing I do remember, I'm drifting away, about the skeuomorphism in macOS 10 Lion was the photo booth application. They really went all out on this one. It actually looks like a photo booth. That was a nice attention to detail, for sure. Oh, and how could I forget? Oh boy. AirDrop. This was the first version of macOS 10 to have AirDrop built in. I'm pretty darn sure this was a Lion-specific feature. Yeah, the only problem is, though, like, I don't think I have my phone, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to send a file over to it, but in this older version of macOS, I'm pretty darn sure it was only Mac to Mac compatible with AirDrop. It was not iPhone to Mac compatible. I mean, it is now, of course, but this was a long time ago. This was like a decade ago. And yeah, just for grins and giggles, I tried it, but no, it will not detect anything. That is pretty cool that that feature is in there. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. It gives you like a little radar in the sidebar when it's looking for stuff. Oh yeah, the Finder sidebar was also completely redesigned. The icons are more monochrome now, no colors. You're not allowed to have color or happiness. You know, thinking about macOS 10 Lion makes me think about one of my favorite Craig Federighi moments.
Now, of course, as a Mac user, I also love working with Windows. So I'm going to bring, and I mean Windows, not Windows. So,
Air Force One, what would we do without you? Apple also released macOS 10 Mountain Lion for free recently too, so if I get enough demand, I suppose I can do an installation sensation of that too. Wink. Feel free to subscribe for more tech episodes all the time. I love doing episodes about rare and retro tech, new tech, and of course, scam tech. And hey, if you like this episode, you know what to do. Thanks for sticking with me, catch the crazy, and pass it on.